U.S. Senator Chris Murphy said he regrets that the Sandy Hook massacre, one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history, has been followed by 5 years of political inaction, and that he finds it difficult to face victims' families. "I'm always a little embarrassed when I go back to Newtown," the Connecticut senator said in an interview, just ahead of the mass shooting's anniversary. "I still feel awful that we haven't enacted bigger national change." The school shooting on December 14, 2012, in which 20 children and 6 educators were murdered, proved to be a defining moment for Murphy. He had been elected senator a month earlier with no intention of leading an anti-gun violence movement. Few, if any, lawmakers would go on to devote as much time, energy, and political capital toward the vexing issue of gun laws. "I view this as a long-term political and social movement that started in 2012 and needs time to build," Murphy said. On Thursday, Murphy will reunite with some of the Newtown families while attending a Mass of Remembrance at a local church. It was one of several events Murphy participates in annually to mark the day when gunman Adam Lanza walked into the Sandy Hook Elementary School and opened fire before claiming his own life. The aftermath remains seared in Murphy's memory. He was poised to take his own young children to New York City that day to view the Christmas decorations when the call came in. Although he had not yet been sworn into the Senate, Murphy was closing out his term as a congressman whose district included Newtown. He was among the few who bore witness at a nearby firehouse when the victims' families were told the unthinkable that their children, all aged 5 and 6, would not be returning home. Reuniting with some of those families on Thursday, Murphy said, "will be a very emotional night. Obviously, 5 years is a milestone, and I think it's important that there's some event in the community to remember what happened and to celebrate the lives we lost, but also the lives that have continued," he said. The frustration in Murphy's voice is nonetheless palpable when the conversation turns to gun control. There have been at least 1,552 mass shootings in the U.S. since Sandy Hook, according to the Gun Violence Archive, with nearly 1,800 people killed and more than 6,000 wounded. "I still feel awful that we haven't enacted bigger national change. I do worry that everyone in this country is becoming desensitized to violence," Murphy said. The shooting now has to have double-digit casualties in order to make the news for more than an hour. Even on Capitol Hill, the outcry with each shooting appears increasingly muted as a familiar pattern takes hold. Republicans offer thoughts and prayers, insisting it is too soon to politicize the tragedy by discussing gun control, while Democrats issue statements calling for action. Murphy, for his part, does not want to wait until the next massacre to weigh in. The senator routinely appears on the Senate floor to shine on a light on everyday gun violence and has delivered more than 50 speeches since taking office dubbed as Voices of Victims. Murphy's activism has made him a frequent target of the NRA, but also positioned him as the Senate's go-to lawmaker for gun violence survivors and the families of victims.